Children, let us have a brief description of the life of the French people, which became tougher now. Forces of the occupying Prussian power, which has invaded the French region of Alsace and Lorraine, claimed it for Prussia. People from Alsace and Lorraine were now no more called as French people. They were instead Germans. This vehemently shook their recognition of their identity, that they had long ago sown deep within themselves. M. Hamel's patriotism and honesty. M. Hamel tells them that they are all at fault for not being eager enough to learn, putting it off to the next day. He blames himself for not teaching them sincerely. His patriotism is reflected in his praise for the French language as being the most beautiful and most logical language in the world. He tells the class to guard their language as being close to one's language is the key to escape from the prison of slavery. It will help them in getting freedom from the Germans. Glimpses of Franz's thoughts in I. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix his mind. Just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him, just like that. Only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller. The hop vine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. In the very next moment, it would be a past for him, because he is no more a French. Old Hussar. Down there at the back of the room, old Hussar had put on his spectacles and, holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. She could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that the children wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how well Franz remembered it, the last lesson. They had no more options left but accept their loss. The law spoke of unrooting them from their land, plucking them off from their identity, ruining their cultural heritage, and claiming their bodies with a new emblem called Germans. They could no more cry out their pain in their own mother tongue, because now that all is lost, they realize they never learned French. And so would they have to color their soul under the rule of Germany. The last minute of bidding goodbye. All at once the church clock struck 12. And it was the end. Then the Angelus, at the same moment the trumpets of the Prussians, returning from drill, sounded under our windows. M. Hamel stood up, very pale in his chair. I never saw that he looked so tall. Children, here I is referred to the narrator. The narrator is Franzia. My friends, said he. I. But something choked him. Here he is, M. Hamel. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. Last teaching and the final bidding. Mr. M. Hamel asked all to always keep the mother tongue close to their heart, as it is the key to the prison of slavery. The teacher teaching sincerely and patiently, students and others studying with utmost sincerity. The uneducated ones just listened with bitter tears at the last lesson being taught. Vive la France. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture, saying, You may go.